Hello everyone, my name is Swen and my nickname is Shadow Thief for all of you that didn't know. I know I don't use the same nickname everywhere, but that's my nickname in Starcraft. And I'm going to be showing you the first episode of a new series that I'm going to be doing. I haven't thought of a name for this yet, but I'm going to be trying to sort of analyze my games on the ladder against various opponents and sort of what I did wrong, what I did right, what I liked about what I did, what I didn't like, where things went wrong, how I could have improved on it. I don't know, just pretty much everything about the game. Yes, sort of like what Day 9 does, but I am not nearly as advanced as him. My Starcraft analytical knowledge is not as vast as that, but I'll try my best, and I think it's sort of maybe just a sort of lower level version of that, because I know I'm going to miss a few things. I know I might not be doing things right. My games are not perfect, and that's sort of the reason that I want to do this, because it's going to help me and it might help other people in this situation as well. So without further ado, I'll just get into this. So I'm playing against ignore that, that's my IRC making a noise. I'm playing against a Protoss player here. You didn't see that, and he realized I had a Cataclysm Collector's Edition, but that's unimportant right now. The reason I chose this replay is because I had a problem with this. I was 2-gate rushed by Protoss about 50 times on the ladder. I know I probably haven't even played 50 games, but you know, a lot of times, and it sort of gets me every single time. And this was the first time I sort of took a step back and actually thought about it and thought about what I was doing and came up with a semi-solution, and I did it right. It actually all comes down to the scouting. So as you might have seen, I sent this first Overlord across to the Protoss base because you know, just scouting the base with that Overlord, you know it's not going to get taken out really early. You'll be able to move the Overlord all the way across the base. You can even park it off behind their natural, or you can just leave it in the gap between their two bases after you've done that initial bit of scouting in their base. So that's, to me personally, that's the best place to send the first Overlord. The second one that comes out, I generally scout with a drone anyway, and yes, I'm playing Zerg. I play Zerg. I generally scout with the drone anyway, but I have modified my scouting patterns a little bit to sort of take into account the fact that on Scrap Station those Protoss guys love to cheese. So I'm going to assume that the Protoss guy, he knows that I'm going to, or he thinks he knows that I'm going to be fast expanding. That was actually my plan initially. But I did change it, and I'm sort of changing it up a lot more recently. I'm sticking to getting the pool first and getting those speedlings out. So here I'm sending it down to my natural to make sure there's no pylon there. Then I send it up here, and just to make sure, and oh, look at that. So right there I saw it on my minimap immediately. I'm going to open the production tab now just so you can see what's going on there as well. So I saw those and immediately I knew, okay, that's like a heart sinking feeling. You know that, you know, it's the jig is up and they're going to be sending those zealots into your base in no time at all. So your initial reaction is you're like, oh no, what can I do? For me, the only thing I could have done is I was on 14 population already, so I was going to throw the pool down anyway. That was the first thing I could have done, and the only thing I could have done actually. One thing I sort of might have done a bit differently was, I'm going to resume the game now, was that actually I could have let this Overlord go a little bit further up and actually just hang out above those two gates to keep you know, a constant eye on them. I think I stopped it over this chasm here so I could see what was going on. So in the production tab I've got my spawning pool coming down, my extractor coming down, because I wanted to get those speedlings. I'll tell you a little bit later why. And obviously he knows that I know, so he's obviously going to be powering through that a lot faster now, if that's even possible. Maybe he's going to chrono boost those zealots out faster, who knows. But looking at it right now, I immediately got those drones on the gas, they're moving in there, but he's committed to this. He can't change his mind at all. It's over. Those gateways are about to go down. Should he even have cancelled them, he would have been way too far behind. He wouldn't have had his ramp blocked, so it wouldn't have worked out. One thing I should have done as well is I should have had this Overlord above his base to be able to see what his probe count was, and I didn't do that. That was a mistake by my part, and I'll next time definitely remember that. So another thing, I'm going to rewind just a little bit there so that I can just show you what I did there and how wrong it was. His probe was on his way into my base, and I actually pulled off I sort of like doing that, actually. I shouldn't say it's totally wrong. I should just time it a little bit better. So there you go. I pulled off my drones off the mineral line and tried to take down his probe, but usually you want to do it when the probe is sort of, or when the worker is sort of in the middle of your drone line, so you can actually get a surround on it. So I tried that, but it didn't work. And obviously he kept his probe around here to try pull my workers off again, but I didn't bite. Actually, I sort of did, but that doesn't really count, does it? So I got this vision here. I'll see when the first zealots come in, unless he paths them very cleverly, but I don't think he would have done that. And then he starts harassing my drones a little bit here. But then spawning pool goes down. The first thing I thought of doing immediately, I wanted to get those 2 spine crawlers down. I wanted more, obviously, but that was my first choice. And then obviously there come those zerglings, because that's all I can build right now. And throwing down a roach warren, also a possibility, but then your immediate defense isn't lined up. You're not going to be ready for that first zealot, which I conveniently saw coming along there. So panic mode has ensued, and I was sort of not sure what to do here. I wanted to stay calm about it, because, you know, I've been watching a lot of Day 9, and it's always about staying calm and trying to think about what you want to do. So I could have built more drones, sure, but those zealots might have overrun me then. These 2 spine crawlers were not done yet. I could see that. He could see that. I needed those zerglings out. So I had to slow down on the drone production, and I had to get those out. And another thing, big mistake by me, I didn't get my metabolic boost immediately. 5 minerals away, I've got the gas. I could have got it, but I was stuck in the moment here, and I was getting pretty, you know, I don't want to say excited, but I was stressing a lot. So 2 zealots in my base. They're about to take down the first spine crawler. You can see that's not going to go up. So not in a good position. But there come the zerglings, and I'm going to say right now, my zergling micro not the best. But if I press Alt there and just show you what's going on, you can see I did some nice damage. I cancelled the spine crawler. Good move there. And I managed to take down a zealot. He takes down 4 zerglings though, and then I just try sort of harass this one, try keep my zerglings alive, and try wait till the spine crawlers go up. So once it goes up, some nice damage being done there, and right now I'm in a much better position. I've got that spine crawler in my mineral line about to go up. This one's about halfway, and that one just went up. It lost a bit of health, sure, but it did go up, and his rush is looking a lot less threatening right now. So again, I'm going to point out that I didn't get my speedling research. I wanted that metabolic boost down. Somewhere around here I actually made the decision that I was gonna transition into roaches, because, you know, roaches are really good against those zealots, and I know that for a fact that if he commits to a 2-gate as potent as all inish as this, then he's not gonna have the minerals that he needs to be able to the gas that he needs to be able to transition into stalkers. So he would lose a lot by doing that. And here I just managed to keep that spine crawler alive. I moved it back, and I was going to plan on putting my roach warren right there. So I left those drones on gas, because I wanted some more gas for the roaches when they come out. And I thought, okay, good, I'm in a nice position now. I chased those zealots out, and now I'm going to try get my economy back up. So at last I'm building my queen. I did delay the queen for a long time, because once again I watch a lot of Day 9, and he says that sometimes getting that queen out that early, not the best idea, because one queen is 150 minerals. Sure, it's going to give you a lot of defense. It's quite a tank, but having those zerglings out fast and getting those spine crawlers up seemed, you know, sort of key to me. I needed to do that. Right there, I was sort of I didn't really want to engage, because I would take a lot of damage. My zerglings weren't all full HP, and I thought, you know, I'm in a good position right now. It gives me a bit of time to drone up. I'm actually getting those 2 drones out, and finally, yes, finally, I decided to get that metabolic boost. So as I said, I left those drones on the extractor just to try get a bit more gas out, in the hopes of getting a few roaches out. So I think right now I'm probably saving for that roach warren. It might have been a bit late, yes, but I do think that it was the right choice in that sense. And if I pause right now, I'm going to switch to everyone's view. We look at his base, okay? If I look at the units tab, he's got 13 probes, I've got 13 drones, so he's sitting about equal there. But in the end, he's lost a lot more. My static defense, which sure is not always the best thing to invest in, but my static defense did a lot of damage to him without you know, taken any losses. So in my opinion, I came off a lot better from that than he did. And another thing is, he couldn't block his ramp, as I mentioned earlier. So I was thinking to myself, okay, the second that Metabolic Boost finishes, these Zerglings are going to make the long run around Scrap Station, yes, the very long run, and assault his mineral line, because I could see, I had a bit of view here, and I could see there wasn't much going on in his base. And again, I'll say that I should have moved that Overlord a bit closer, but I knew that I had to sort of go for the jugular here and try to stop his income. So I was a bit ahead there, and you can see he's definitely all in this. He's gathering his zealots here for another, I suppose, desperate attempt at coming at my base. But right now, I think I'm in the good spot. So there, okay, that's what I wanted to look at. He's got an assimilator going down. You can't do that. Okay, I personally, I don't think you can do that. There comes his Cybernetics Core. He's going to try to transition from an all-in into a late game strat, and that just doesn't work. So for a Protoss player out there, I think if you're going to decide to 2-gate all-in, you should all-in it. Look, I'm not a Protoss player, I don't know about that, but I can see that that's a bit of a mistake by him. So here, I'm trying to do a bit of damage to his Zealots. He's got them on hold position. Clever guy indeed. I don't know what his ranking is, where he sits. I think he's a Diamond League player, along with me. Pretty low level Diamond, I'm guessing, because that's where I am, and I think the teams were evenly matched. So I'm going to pause again and just switch back to my view here. I could see those Zealots were on their way up my ramp. I've got a good bunch of static defense down here. Another thing I'm going to keep referencing day 9, getting a bunch of spine crawlers out is never that bad a thing. I'm going to have a nice mobile army out in just a couple of seconds, and I'll be able to take the attack to him. So I was pretty happy with this right now. I did see those Zealots, they were looking pretty intimidating, and I do think that if he had ran in here, he would have been better off than camping out for that long. So there goes the Speedling research. I made my decision. My first roach is on its way out, and the next couple are going to come out now. One thing I should have done that I really do sort of regret, but it's not such a big deal. I should have spread the creep instead of injecting the larva, because I had quite a few larvae sitting here throughout the game that I couldn't use because I was running on a pretty low drone count. So when you're in this comfortable position, I would recommend throwing down, getting out more drones. Okay, because you've got the static base defense, which is pretty intimidating. I personally don't think he would have been able to do it. He wouldn't have been able to kill me with those Zealots that he had there. But he did decide to do something different anyway. So there comes the first Stalker for him, but it was a little bit late. It really was a bit late. So Speedling research is done. I don't know why I keep calling it that, but it's done. And I'm making my move. Why is the game on normal? There, it's back on faster. I'm making my move around to his base. So that was it. I decided it's time to go for his base. Time to take out those probes, mine him, because I know he has nothing there. And then the mistake that he made here was he actually tried to follow me with those incredibly slow Zealots. I was in his base and he wasn't even halfway there. So I had my first roaches out. I was finally in a good position after all that stress. And that was it. I think this is pretty much GG. He got a fright. He knew that was over. And that's it. We all lived happily ever after. Except for him, obviously. But so there I threw down my first creep tumor as well. I knew the Zealots were gone. It was safe. And production tab, 4 more roaches coming out. So overall, good position. I know some people would have said that, okay, it's silly to lose to 2-gate strats anyway, but you know, I sort of thought a lot of people do have trouble with this, and this is a very specific, I don't know, I'm not going to call it a guide, but this is a very specific instance that this would work. This is just something that you should check out for if you're playing Zerg, I suppose any other race, Terran even as well, or another Protoss. If you're playing on Scrap Station, this is something you got to watch out for. I say for Zerg more specifically because Scrap Station is the one map where you can expand really easily on quite comfortably. So if I resume the game, I've destroyed everything here. These are some hero Zerglings, they've taken out everything, and he GG's out of there. That was it. So yeah, that's just sort of my take on what happens when you get 2-gated on Scrap Station. I know, not the most analytical side of things. Another thing I think I could have done is I wanted to power drone a little bit, get a few more drones out. I would have probably thrown down my expansion if things weren't going as well. If it went into a later game, which it really shouldn't have, because I think I would have had that anyway. So expansion, that's one thing. Upgrades for my roaches maybe, because I know he's had a Zealot heavy army out. A few things that I could have done a bit differently, sure, but I do think that that was the better way of doing it, and I hope that some of you guys will maybe find some use you know, from watching this. I'm going to be doing this sort of series of of analyzing my own games, maybe other people's games too, but for now I'll start with my own ones because I can see the glaring mistakes in the things that I do. So you guys can give me your input, you can tell me what you think about it, you can tell me if there are things that I could have done differently, because that's actually, you can help me help you help me, because it's in the end, that's what it's about. The community is all that it's about. You guys can help me, tell me what I did wrong, what I could have done differently, and if you have your own methods of stopping things like this on maps like these. So this is my first edition of this show. I don't know what it's going to be called. I can't call it daily because I'm not going to do it daily. I'll think of a name, and by the time I upload this, I'll probably have a nice little name and picture set up for it, so you can all enjoy that too. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think. That's it for this first one. I'm going to be doing the second one right now. I've got another little Day 9 inspired game that I want to have a look at, so stay tuned for that.